Imagine a soldier who never sleeps, never trembles, and chooses a target without asking for permission. Not tomorrow, now. In the sky, at sea, at the corner of your street. They're called loitering munitions, kamikaze drones, autonomous weapon systems. Behind these words, a simple and dizzying idea. Artificial intelligence enters the loop, or it steps out of it. And from that point on, everything changes. Kyiv, a winter evening. A small drone, almost ordinary, hovers above the rooftops. No massive wings, no bombs slung underneath. Just enough computation to search, track, decide. It doesn't carry a weapon. It is the weapon. It loiters, waits for the right signal, then dives. What looked like an accident becomes a warning. War is being rewritten at the speed of algorithms. The promise of a cleaner war. We used to say, AI is self-driving cars, text writing, generated images. We forgot the rest. We forgot the logistics of an army moving like a single body, the instant analysis of thousands of sensors, route optimization, target prioritization, data fusion. We forgot that deciding faster is already winning. The promise is tempting. More precision, fewer human errors, fewer civilian losses. But war itself does not become clean. It only becomes faster. Between the human error we forgive and the machine fault we never accept, we lock ourselves into a paradox, demanding from code a perfection we don't possess, while handing over to it our margins for error. Everywhere, the lines are shifting. Some states hesitate, others charge ahead. We repeat, humans must remain in the loop. But the loop is shrinking. The systems that defend bases, ships, convoys already react in milliseconds, too fast for a brain. The human operator still has one button: disable. In theory, he's in charge. In practice, he's catching up. Here lies the heart of the problem. Who owns the decision? The developer who writes the rule? The commander who signs the order? The machine that, faced with 20 options, chooses the 21st because the context changed? Machines learning to see. The swarms are coming. Dozens of drones that cooperate, exchange information, replace one another when one falls, sacrifice part of the group to open a breach. We talk about emergent behavior. Nothing has been programmed line by line for every case, and yet the whole seems to think. In an urban canyon, a convoy advances. Above, the swarm splits. Some saturate sensors, others locate threats, others strike. Who's in command? There isn't one pilot. There is a group algorithm. Defense replies. Radars, thermal cameras, radio frequency sensors, hunter microdrones, nets, jamming. New generation air defense systems prioritize threats, compute trajectories, fire, reassess, fire again. The scene lasts a few seconds, but it compresses thousands of decisions. The human, meanwhile, receives alerts and an emergency stop. Right, the battle plays out in windows of time we no longer even perceive. The red line of lethal autonomy. On the ground, nothing is simple. GPS gets jammed, communications drop. Drones that relied on a signal from the sky learn to navigate like we do, by reading facades, streets, angles, shadows, mapping in real time, estimating distances, recognizing a vehicle, an antenna, a radar, a human. That's the promise of local autonomy. See, understand, act without asking. So we cling to rules. We say, Whatever happens, no full autonomy for attack. We say, there must always be a human review before the final engagement. But on a saturated front, when data packets travel poorly, when jamming smothers the links, what happens if the system loses that review? Does it wait until it becomes useless? Or does it act according to the last instructions? Where do we set the cursor between caution and effectiveness? In labs, robustness is the pursuit. We marry computer vision with LiDAR, inertial with simplified maps, fast inference with slower but finer models. We want machines that can orient themselves in dust, night, rain, under fire, without GPS, without network. We aim for cognitive autonomy, to understand new scenes, form hypotheses, adapt. Or spills beyond the battlefield. You might think military AI is confined to the front, but it spills over. In cybersecurity, it profiles network behavior, flags the abnormal before a known signature appears. In policing, it promises to predict unrest, assign resources, sort faces in a crowd. Each time, the temptation is the same. Win speed, lose transparency. Who controls the controllers? Who audits the black boxes? Who sets the thresholds? A policymaker? An ethics board? A default parameter? Back to the battlefield. An operator watches a stream of compressed images. Sensors saturate. Signals contradict. In the past, we waited to understand today. Waiting means dying. We prefer a system that's wrong 1% of the time, but reacts in 100 milliseconds, to a human who's wrong less often, but decides in 10 seconds. In this world, the tolerated error becomes programmed, and when it happens, to whom will the fault belong? Some argue for clear bans, no fully autonomous lethal weapons. Others want guardrails, tamper-proof decision logging, a dead man's switch, regular certifications, public test scenarios, independent audits, traceable chains of responsibility. Still others believe that refusing to advance simply leaves the field to those who won't ask any questions. So we debate, while the technology moves on. On the ground, tactics evolve in plain sight. Decoys multiply, inflatable fake tanks, simulated thermal signatures, radar reflectors that trick sensors, algorithms learn to see beyond appearances. The real battle. Our values versus speed. We could choose another path. Demand transparency. Decisions explained, criteria audited, training data disclosed, failure metrics published. Impose no-go zones for lethal autonomy. Schools, hospitals, civilian gatherings, critical infrastructure. Add fail-safes. If the context is too uncertain, if probability drops, if sensors diverge, the system disengages. We could decide that even if it's less effective, the answer is no, because there are limits that belong neither to speed nor to victory. Of course, all this has a cost. Armies want to protect their soldiers, societies want to reduce losses. Leaders want to show strength without the tally of coffins. The temptation is immense. Let machines do what we refuse to do ourselves. But if we delegate the decision to take a life, what exactly are we delegating? A gesture? A responsibility? A part of us? Look at the world as it's becoming. Swarms will be part of combat units. Ships will deploy pilot AIs. Submarines will learn to track in silence. Urban defenses will listen to the sky like one listens to a neighbor. The borders between police, homeland security, and the military domain will blur, because the technology knows none of those borders. Everything will be faster. Everything will have to be clearer. Or else, everything will become opaque. So, who holds the leash? The coder? the commander, the law, or no one. We can build weapon systems, yes. We can also build something else. Solid rules, controls, limits. The machine will never cross. We have invented weapons that think enough to obey, sometimes too much to be stopped in time. The real battle may not be at the border, but here, in our laws, our values, our choices. Are we ready to say where autonomy ends and responsibility begins? Are we ready to accept that some victories aren't worth the way they're obtained? Here is the question AI poses to war, and to all of us. Do we want a world where speed outruns wisdom, or a world where wisdom sets the speed? That choice, a machine cannot make. It's our job. Now, if you found this video interesting, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps us bring you more simple and powerful stories from around the world. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.